Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Inasi Malibe, the founder of the Family Hub. Today we will be talking about the power of forgiveness in your home or in your marriage. Forgiveness can be understood as replacing ill will towards an offender with goodwill, thereby fostering a healthy and more harmonious connection. When we forgive our spouses or when we forgive an offender, here can be our children or people that live in the same house with us. When we forgive them, it doesn't mean that we are ignoring the issue or we are giving them the right to be irresponsible or unaccountable to their actions. But when we choose to forgive, it means that we are being compassionate and we are pardoning an offense, expecting that they will make a redress. So, why do we forgive? We forgive because it makes us free. Someone once said that unforgiveness is like drinking a poison and expecting the other person who offended you to die from that poison. So, forgiveness frees you to pursue your spiritual journey. Without forgiveness, your spiritual journey will be burdened. It will be burdened with all sorts of things. In fact, you won't be able to pray. Your connection with God will be impeded, and even connection with the offender will be impeded unless if you don't want to continue that relationship with that offender. Especially now we're talking about our spouses. If we choose not to forgive our spouses, our connections with them, our relationship will be impeded. So because of the fact that we want to be able to relate with God, we want to be able to pray, we need to be ready to forgive our spouses or our children and people who offend us. And also without if we choose not to forgive people, um, the enemy will have a foothold in our lives because we are not ignorant of his devices. We are not unaware of his devices. So unforgiveness now helps to build our relationship with our spouses or our children, and also helps to build our relationship with God. And also forgiveness help us to it serves like a balm of health to us. Negative emotions drain us of energy and take hold of our body, mind, and spirit. Anger, anxiety, depression, and undue stress exact a negative influence on our bodies. They can lead to elevated blood pressure, heart rate, and even feeling out of control. It makes us feel out of control because we have already given our power to somebody. When we choose not to forgive people or choose not to forgive our spouses or our children, it's like we've given them our power. We're giving them the power to our peace or our own power, and they hold it, and then we feel like there's a disconnection to the things that we would love to do. And also, because a cheerful heart is a good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bone. That is Proverbs chapter 17, verse 22. When your spirit is crushed, there are so many things that you won't be able to achieve, and it impedes on your health, and also it stops you from achieving the things you would want to achieve because you're harboring unforgiveness against somebody. And now, how do you apologize when you offend somebody? For example, when you offend your spouse. When you realize that you've spoken hotly to them, or maybe you spoke to them in a harsh tone, you should be sincere with your apology and you should be specific with your apology by saying, I am sorry for how I use words on you, or I'm sorry for the way I spoke to you. I will make a conscious effort to improve my tone. Can you find a place in your heart to forgive me? Or because that will go a long way. How you choose to ask for forgiveness will go a long way. You can't say, okay, sorry. If you are offended, I'm sorry. No, that is not how to apologize to somebody. If you offend someone and the person decide to say, I'm hurt, just say sorry. I am sorry for the way I spoke to you. I will make a redress, and be remorseful about it. Don't just say it flinchingly, like you don't even care about their feelings. We're talking about our spouses here. We're talking about family members here. You should care about how they feel, even if you think they are being too petty. They have the right to be hurt. They have the right to be angry. All you should say is, "I am sorry. I will make it. I will make. I'll find a way of improving my actions towards you. And also, maybe for example, you forget to do something and your spouse or your family member is upset. Instead of maybe you forgot to do something that you were supposed to do, you just ask them, how can I make it up to you? When you upset your spouse, do not try to justify your actions or make them feel like they are being petty or they are complaining a lot, like they don't have the right to be upset. Or you start blaming somebody for your actions. Instead of you just saying sorry, you start saying, oh, you actually made me do this. You are the one who pushed me into doing what I did. That is not right. Just accept your fault, accept the fact that you've offended them or you made them upset, and say sorry. Please listen to them and apologize. Do not trade your peace because you want to be right or because you feel like they do not owe you an apology. And then don't say, oh, remember you did something to me the other day and I did not even say anything. I decided to forgive you. Why can't you just forget about this one? No, they have the right to complain. Since you did not bring up the issue at that time that they offended you, now they are the ones complaining. So listen to them. The person who complains now for this present offense is the one who deserves an apology. Since you did not bring up the issue at that time that they offended you, you have no right to justify your actions now. So now that they are the ones angry or upset, just go ahead and apologize to them instead of justifying your actions. Sometimes we feel like we are always right and like we don't offend people. We are not flawless. The people who are recipients of our actions are the ones who can tell us whether we are right or wrong. We might feel like we are always right. We are not always right. The people who are the recipients of our actions are the ones who will justify our actions and tell us whether we are right or we are wrong. So when we apologize to our spouses or to our children or even to other people around us, we shouldn't pressure them into forgiving us there and then. We should just give them time. It is some people, we are all wired differently and we have our own way of processing hurt. You cannot say sorry to somebody and then you expect them to forgive you there and then. So people, it takes them time to process hurt. It takes them time to process a matter or an issue, and then they can decide to forgive gradually. So don't force people to forgive you. Don't ask people to forgive you under duress. When you offend people, give them time. We are all wired differently, and the way we process things are differently. So respect their healing process and give them time to come to terms with the situation and forgive. Also, people can decide to forgive you and decide that, okay, I've forgiven you, but I don't really want to have a restored relationship. They don't want to restore the relationship. Just respect their feelings, respect their decisions. If they decide that they have forgiven you but they don't want to restore that relationship or they don't want to continue with a relationship with you, especially in a situation where there's a repeated violence or abuse, and then the person who is hurt decided that I'm ending this relationship, I think sometimes it is best for the victim and also for the offender. So if you hurt somebody in a case of an abuse or violence and the person decides that I have forgiven you but I don't want to have a restored relationship, just respect their feelings. Don't force them into forgiving you or restoring the relationship. If they said I have forgiven you but I don't want to restore the relationship, just give them time. Give them space. Don't force it. Don't make them come back to the relationship under duress, please. The people have the right to make their own choices, to decide what is best for them. And as husbands and wives, we are bound to offend each other in diverse ways. But we have to choose the path of forgiveness per second. We are human beings. We offend each other. So that is why we offend our family members, we offend our children, we offend our spouses. We have to choose the path of forgiveness per second. Let love lead the way. Let us love each other without faking it.